the alley.
That it is no joke in the South. It seems like there's a cycle of things that bloom and they just get us all in our head, doesn't it?
It does.
And I don't know what's blooming right now, but it's just got me good. Every day I use a neti pot to try to keep all that cleaned out. And
Uh-huh.
it does a good job of, I think anyway, of holding it off. Ever since I started using it, I don't seem to have as much of uh, it progressing to worse. It doesn't mean
Yes,
I don't have effects from it.
right.
It doesn't progress. It doesn't stay in there and get a sinus infection and all.
I use a Navage and
What is it?
Navage. It's
What's that?
it's similar to the neti pot. The
Uh-huh.
difference is it does the suction. It's like
Oh,
what the doctor uses. It irrigates. Yeah.
like when you do the babies.
Well, no, not like that.
Oh, okay.
It's machine. I'm surprised that you have not seen it advertised on
Well,
television.
I'm gonna write it down because I'm always interested in learning new ways that can
Mhm.
keep me off doctor's appointments.
It's Navage.
Navage. And we are always here to learn from each other because
Exactly. And by the way, I did try the yogurt
and
you suggested. I
what did you
loved it.
think? It was good. Which flavor
Yes,
did you get?
the key lime.
Key lime. Well, you
Yeah.
said that you really liked key lime.
Yes.
I think I have decided my favorite is vanilla, and that probably says a lot about me. I don't mean to be boring, but I guess when it comes to food, I can be pretty boring.
Look, whatever works for you.
I like I'll eat the same thing every single day. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't get really sick of, that same cycle of stuff. It's
You sound like my husband. I can't do that.
I hate having to try to come up with new things. So if
Mhm.
I find something I like, I just kind of stick with it. And,
Okay.
until something else comes along and then I stick with that. That's kind of the cycle of food. Anyway, let's get started.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad to learn about Navage, keeping all my sinuses cleared out. Also, remember if you've ever done a lymphatic massage to kind of drain anything that's stuck in your face,
Mm-hmm.
doing that, drain it down. Right, just almost like that. I did like a
Okay.
version of
Yeah.
it. You can look it up, but it's easy to do in the shower because you're wet and usually we'll have soap. You can have soap on your hands and
Uh-huh.
your hands glide across your face a lot
This
easier.
class has
You're not
started.
pulling at your skin. And then you have the steam from the hot shower that's helpful as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you can use that jade when doing that. Have you seen that too?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh, and that was Linda. She's about to get home. She had forgotten.
Oh, very good. I'm gonna go ahead and mark her present.
Okay.
Um, keeping my row. We are on week, oh shoot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's week 12, but I think we're going to go that extra week because uh, during the hurricane, which have you caught yourself calling it during COVID? Have you caught,
No.
because
I,
other people have told me that they have been making that same mistake. Like during COVID, no, during the hurricane, all that mess during the hurricane. Whenever we did that check in, we didn't technically have Tai Chi class. It was just more of a check in to see how everybody fared and was okay. So I didn't count that as a class. So we're going to actually be having 17 classes. Uh,
okay.
it looks like the last class will be December the 10th, just to give you
Okay.
an idea.
All
Uh,
right. Sounds great.
December the 10th, and I'll even be doing classes the week of Thanksgiving. Now, you may be busy, and that's okay. Just know that as long as somebody's in class, there will be a recording. If nobody shows up to class, then what I was going to do today, if nobody showed up, is I was going to do one of my tutorial recordings that I haven't done. So we will have class one way or the other.
Okay, sounds great.
Well, let's get started. First, getting in our stable stance to begin with our warm-up stretches. We have our feet shoulder width or hip width apart. The main thing is we feel stable in however far our feet are. We have a soft bend in our knees, good posture, relaxed shoulders, and we're reminding ourselves to breathe. All right, here we go. For our neck, bringing those hands up towards our chin and chest. Push away from our bodies and follow those hands all the way down, chin to chest. Should feel a slight stretch in the back of your neck as you take that chin towards your chest.
Oops, wait a minute.
Slow, smooth, and continuous is our principle. I'll tell you, I do these neck stretches throughout the day to keep my neck from being stiff. I've told y'all this before, especially on days that I drive a lot. I'm real conscious of keeping my neck stretched because when you drive, you're kind of tense, right? Because you're always worrying about, is there deer? What's the other drivers doing? It's not a relaxed activity by any means. So I tend to have a stiff neck on days when I drive a lot.
Okay.
So these exercises right here just really take care of that neck. So that's the two neck exercises we do for Tai Chi. But just know that there are there's Miss Linda. See, her last name always comes with her. Another neck exercise you can do is take your chin towards your shoulder and just lay your head over.
That feels
And of
good.
course to the other side. And that's another neck exercise that's not in our Tai Chi class, but can stretch your neck. Also, you can roll your neck down and kind of around. So you're going side to side, kind of taking that long way round. And so that's another way to stretch your neck. All right, for our shoulders, let's roll our shoulders forward. And then roll them back. Continue to breathe. I'm telling myself to slow down. So easy to get in a hurry. And then big shoulder circle. Now for our spine, let's grab our ball. Separate those hands. One pushes up while the other pushes down. Thinking about that spine stretching vertically. Coming back to our ball and switch. Remember, we keep that soft bend in our elbows. We don't completely straighten those arms. To me, there's a learning curve to this move to really get it to stretch your spine. I think we focus so much on our arms when we have done this stretch, in other exercise classes that we kind of have to figure out, okay, what am I stretching here? And it really is that push down and push up, that pushing against away from each other, that really does stretch that spine. So hopefully you've easily figured that out and you had less of a learning curve than I did.
Mhm.
This feels good.
I know, I'm kind of feeling stuck on this one. Just, I was thinking about that, like, why is my back and shoulders just tight and sore? Who knows? I'm hard on my body, y'all. Let's go side to side. Now for our hips, shifting our weight to one leg, having that heel forward, hands back. Thinking about posture, paws in the middle, and toe back, hands forward. Continuing to breathe. A trick on this movement is to stay upright and to keep those shoulders relaxed. Because I feel myself wanting to pull my shoulders up and also kind of wanting to lean with the movement. Let's switch to the other leg. You say, yeah, you do too?
I do.
I mean, I feel myself wanting to lean forward, and it's just a challenge to stay upright, and that's a good challenge. It's body awareness and knowing that I need to keep that body upright. There's so many things that Tai Chi has taught me, and it's that. And this is outside of class, not just in class. Awareness of how I'm holding my posture and if I'm holding tension, specifically in my shoulders and neck, which is often where I hold tension. All right, let's shift weight to one leg, tap out. We're taking that hand with us and stopping at our frame. So we're not, again, we're not leaning with the movement. We're staying upright. I'm on the spot of the floor that creaks. So as I shift weight, this floor sounds like a haunted house. I don't know how old this building is, but I think it's pretty old. All right, so now for our knees. We're going to shift the weight to one leg, lift, tap and punch, bring it back. Shift, lift, tap and punch, bring it back, challenging ourselves again to stay upright as we hold our weight on one leg. And don't forget to breathe. These movements of holding weight on one leg has reminded me of how important it is for my feet to feel grounded. And what I mean by that is I wear flat shoes when I do Tai Chi because a shoe that has a whole lot of cushion, there's a bunch of cushion between my foot and the floor, and it doesn't make me feel grounded in the movement. And so I like feeling grounded. I don't know if you've ever thought about the shoes that you wear with Tai Chi, but I like having a very flat shoe with not a lot of cushion. But to each his own. Shift, lift, and tap. I tell you, my Tai Chi instructor, she wears I always think they look like wrestling shoes. You know how a wrestling shoe will it's an ASIC and it has no cushion at all, just a rubber bottom. And I wear ballet flats, and it's pretty much the same concept as far as the bottom. It just doesn't lace up. Some people wear those like swim shoes because they have a no grip bottom and there's, no cushion to them. I've seen people use those.
I had not thought about that. That's what I might try.
But every time I try to wear shoes with cushion, like tennis shoes, I struggle with Tai Chi. I will shift my weight to one leg and I'll feel my foot really wobble, but it's because there's so much cushion there. And I'm used to not that cushion not being there, and really grounding myself into the movement. So give it a try. Inexpensive version, like if you go to, which heck, what's inexpensive anymore? But used to, you could buy some like KED type shoes at Walmart, just real flat, like white, plain white shoes that laced. Those shoes would, give you that effect. But definitely those water shoes, I've seen those a lot. I'll show you.
My swim shoes the next session.
Do what?
I'll try my swim shoes for the next session.
All right, that sounds good. I'll show y'all my shoes in a minute just to give you an idea of what they look like up close. Range of motion of my ankle joint. You don't realize how important that ankle joint is, but it can save us from falls if we have good, strong ankles. Especially if we get into a uneven ground, i.e. my yard, because my dogs dig holes. All right, shake it off. We good and stretch. But see how like flat my shoe is? There's nothing to it.
Mhm.
I mean, there's nothing to that shoe at all. I mean, it has maybe a tiny, tiny bit of cushion, but it's not even soft. It's really hard. All right. Tai Chi Part 1. We have definitely learned our basic 6. Are we masters of it? No, that's okay. We don't have to be masters of it. All we have to be committed to is being learners of it and people who just work at it and get better at it. So we're learning our advanced 6. We're diving into that. We have done brush knee, play the lute. We've talked about the peri-peri punch and how once we get through that peri punch, we're home free because it's block and close, which is a step back with a follow step and the hands come to the hips, and then a push the tiger up the mountain where we step forward with a follow step and the hands come up shoulder height. So we know we can step back, hands, and step forward, hands up. So hands down and back, hands up and forward. And so those are our final 2 moves of our advanced 6. So I like to show y'all what's coming to go, okay, we can get through this. Let's get through these difficult ones and then we'll be home free. So let's review our basic 6. Let's just go over that, get some confidence builders before we go into our advanced 6. So just our basic 6 several times. Getting in our upright posture position, same as before, relax shoulders. We're breathing, we're thinking slow, smooth, and continuous as we move and do our weight transfer with each movement. So here we go, basic 6, and commence. open, close. Single whip. First to the right. Waving hands and clouds. Those words are behind me. Step, switch, turn, and shift. I switch and step at the same time, and then turn and then shift. Just to combine those movements to make them more smooth. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands and clouds. Remember, it's a torso movement. We're engaging our core muscles as we turn. Continuing to breathe. Open, close. And close it out. So that's our basic 6. I'll talk you through it this time. Then we'll do it several times without any talking. And commence. Hands come up and down, shift right. Step left, hands come in and up. Shift left as our hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip. Shift left, step right, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, eyes follow our left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back, waving hands and clouds. Step and switch, turn, shift. 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 Last time, step and switch, turn, and come to the middle for open and close. Single whip. Shift right, step left, adjust weight. Push, turn, separate. Eyes follow our right hand. Shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back, waving hands and clouds. Step and switch, turn, shift. 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 Step and switch, turn, and to the middle for open and close. Close it out. Any questions about those moves before we do it without me talking?
No.
We're good on those. We're getting there. We know it. We're just practicing making it more smooth. All right, here we go. So let's do it several times. Basic 6. And commence. Open, close. I think I did 2 extra steps.
You did.
I think so many things while I'm being quiet, and counting to 6 seems to be the most difficult thing for me.
I
Uh,
mean,
of all
I
the
can't
things
see.
that we do, counting to 6 is just hard. I'm like, I ended just now. I know going towards what I call the center.
Mhm.
I know that's always my last turn. And so I was on 5 and I was like, how am I on 5? I should be on an even number. So I just said, well, I'll just do 2 more. And then I thought, why am I so close to this table? Well, yeah, because
Do it for me, counting to 6.
okay.
So I can see. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll do it both ways, starting with that first brush knee to the right.
Yeah, just tell me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so I can see them.
Okay. Here we go. 1,
Okay.
2,
Mhm.
3, 4, 5, 6. And so that's what I mean. Going towards center is always my last turn. And
Okay.
what I mean by that is we start here and we go this way. So that's center, right? So we're moving away from center, and that last turn is towards center. So 6 is always towards that last center, or that 6 is always towards center. So here's to the left. 1, 2, that's towards center. 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. Okay.
So when we wave hands in clouds the first time, it's to the right.
Okay.
So we step used to, and I was worse at counting it this way, if you believe that. I would count it like this. I would go here. All right. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. I was worse at doing it that way, but that may work for you. I
Okay.
found that counting to 6 is the easiest for me if I can just do it.
Okay.
But sometimes, I mean, just to let you know, all the things that go through my mind, I every now and again I'm thinking about making sure I'm breathing. I'm not holding my breath. That will kind of come in and out of my mind. I'm not constantly thinking it, but just reminding myself to breathe, to not hold my breath. But
Okay.
specifically on the waving hands and clouds movement, I'm really thinking about engaging these core muscles. And so that's why when I step and switch, I can easily do those at the same time, right? So I'm stepping and switching my hands. Boom. That's happening at the same time. But because I'm engaging my core in what's called gentle resistance, I split, turn, and shift apart. And that's what's going through my mind. I'm thinking, engage the core, like really tightening up these stomach muscles. And whenever I turn, I'm turning intentionally thinking about those muscles, pushing me to the side, like as if I can't move without pushing with these muscles. And so that's what's filling up my head instead of the counting, is I'm really thinking about gentle resistance. You can't really see it. I mean, it's something that I'm doing. So here's what it looks like when I don't use gentle resistance. Here's what it looks like when I do. Could you see a difference?
I could.
Okay, you saw that did you see me kind of propel myself to the side?
On the second set, it was like I just saw the top half of you moving.
So I'm just really thinking about engaging muscle. You can do that movement without engaging that muscle, without that gentle resistance. I'm gonna open up this door. But that it's totally up to you. You can do it that way one time when you practice Tai Chi, engaging the muscle. Then the next time you practice it, you don't have to. If you're not really thinking about gentle resistance and engaging your stomach muscles and all of your core muscles, then you can put these two together, turn and shift. And so that looks like this. So going to the right from our single whip, we have step and switch. And then as I'm turning, I'm shifting the weight to that right foot. Step and switch, turn and shift. So it's less torso involvement, even though I am moving my torso. It's just a different movement because I'm shifting and turning at the same time.
But you're not resisting there, are you?
No, I was just, and it feels nice because it's airy and it feels like you're just floating through the movement. When you start using gentle resistance, you're just kind of like grounded in that movement and you move with intention. And that's just one way of experiencing that movement. Whereas the other way, you can turn and shift at the same time.
That's pretty much what I do.
And that's fine. That's what I did for years. It wasn't until maybe the past year and a half that I really just started focusing on gentle resistance. And I think that came with just knowing the movement so well that I wanted to step it up a notch and just add more to the movement that could potentially benefit me. But now the other benefits you in a way where it's just there's that quietness to the movement. The gentle resistance almost has noise to it. And we're not talking about sound. Maybe that makes sense. But just to let you know, there's so many different ways you can do these movements, and we'll talk about it more as we do our advanced 6 movements, because again, a lot of opportunities for that gentle resistance because those movements are very fight-like. And of course, if you were in a fight, you definitely want to add resistance because, I mean, if you're going to hit somebody, you're going to hit them with resistance, right? You're not going to just glide into their face, you know? So we're not actually having a fight, but we think of it in terms of it because its history and basis is in martial art. So there that is, and that's one of our principles. So let's do our basic 6 one last time. I'll try to do it without talking. And then we'll jump into our advanced 6. All right, here we go. And commence. Sorry, I switched to the wrong leg. So I tried to be a little bit more flowy with my movement and not so cord in that resistance that time. So just keep it up practicing. I talked to you about having the the pieces and parts to waving hands and clouds on a paper in front of you. That has always been helpful to me. Even after years of teaching Tai Chi and doing Tai Chi, I still like having it there. Another good note to have is the Tai Chi principles. And I have those on, I have a big old poster of the Tai Chi principles. And so that's what these look like. And I like to have them there so I can go, okay, well, we're going to do, you know, basic 6 again, and we're going to really think about slow, smooth, and continuous. And so these are our principles. They fall under 3 categories: movement control, body structure, and then the internal experience of Tai Chi. And the movement control, that's where slow, smooth, continuous, and gentle resistance comes in. In body structure, the upright posture, and the weight transfer. You know how we always empty step before we transfer weight. That's part of that body structure. Relaxed shoulders is internal. That's where we talk about open joints, where we keep that soft bend in our knees, soft bend in our elbows to allow energy to flow, even room in our armpit as we do open and close movements. We don't completely close off our armpit. And then Jing is that mental quietness that doesn't always happen during class because you have a teacher that talks a lot. Understandably, that's my job. So that's something that I always have as a reminder. If you come to 10 classes and you earn a shirt, the back of our shirt has our principles on there. So I like to be able to refer to the principles. Of course, you can't see your back, but I have been in class before where I've had somebody turn around because I'm like, I'm missing one. And so having our principles on a Post-it note to remind you of what you can focus on. Even in our warm-up stretches, if you're following principle, you're going to get benefits from Tai Chi. All right, advanced 6, starting with brush knee. Now, just like in basic 6, where we do single whip and waving hands and clouds to the right, and then we do it to the left, our advanced 6 are done to the left first. We'll do all those things, and then we'll do all the things to the right. So this program is balanced like that. We do things to both sides. So to remind you, this is what brush knee looks like, and then I'll talk you through it. So we're moving from the front, facing the front, to facing the left. And we do that through weight transfer. This is our first experience with a pivot. So when we shift our weight to our left foot, we pivot on that right heel. So we're turning that toe towards the left. That's the direction we're going. So we turn it there. That makes it easier for when we do our step. If we were to keep that foot facing forward, it would put some pressure on our knee. So we want to turn that toe in. All right. So we shift left, right toe in. And when we bring that right toe in, we reach our right hand out and our left hand comes and hovers over our elbow. So shift left, right toe in and reach. Now shift right. We're going to separate and prepare. So we bring that left foot and left hand back. So that left foot came back to the right and my left hand came to my hip. Now I'm ready to step. I step left I bring this right hand around, and when I get to my shoulder, I shift weight to that left foot as I push my right hand, and then follow step right. And that's the final step of the movement, is the follow step right. What may feel awkward about this movement is that when we step, our next step typically is forward, right? We're going forward and forward. But on this movement, when we step that left foot to go towards the left, shift, follow step, that right foot is still behind it. We didn't step forward. And so I think that's something that may feel a little bit awkward, but just keep that in mind. It's step left, shift, and then we follow step right. So now both feet are facing to the left. Anytime I follow step in advanced movements, there's no weight shift on that follow step foot. And it may look like my foot is all the way to the ground, but a piece of paper could only fit under my heel. That's how close to the ground it is. So there's no weight on that foot. All my weight is on my left foot whenever I end that movement, and it looks like that. Now remember, in terms of range of motion of your shoulder, when we go to push to go towards that left, I told you to bring that arm around. Well, you might not have the range of motion to completely come back and around to up to your shoulder and then you push. So you do what you can, but imagine you're doing that full movement around. But regardless of how you get there, you may even come straight up and turn your hand by your shoulder. When you come from your shoulder is when you push as you weight shift. Now, I purposely use the word push because that's a gentle resistance word. When I tell you to push, you put some oomph into it, right? But if I tell you to bring your hand forward, or bring your hand forward. It's hard for me not to use the word push, but when you use a different word to bring your hand around and come out, then you don't give it that resistance. So again, that's a principle. You don't have to practice that gentle resistance, but it's an opportunity to get to use it. So the same thing here when I shift left, right toe in, reach. That word reach is a resistance word. If I just told you to extend your hand or to lay your hands, then you're not reaching. You're not giving it any resistance. Both are right. So don't think either one is wrong. I choose that word reach to encourage you to give gentle resistance a try. You are in charge of just how much of that resistance you're ready for. When we first learn the movements, we're not there yet, so that's okay. But I still want to put it in your head that we shift left, right toe in and reach, shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back, step left, bring that right hand around, get to that shoulder, and push as I shift, and follow step right. So notice my body is upright. I didn't push into, or I didn't lean towards that motion of pushing. Even though my body sure wanted to, I stayed upright. Let's practice that several times. I'll talk you through it. Coming from open and close. Brush knee. Shift left, right toe in and reach. Shift right, separate, prepare. Step left, Bring this right around and shift as I push. Follow step right. Again, open and close. Brush knee. Shift. Right toe in and reach. Shift right. Separate, prepare. Step left. Bring that right hand around. Get to the shoulder and push as I shift weight. Follow step right. One more time. I won't talk this time. Brush knee. How's that feeling? You have questions about that movement?
You gotta practice, it's not smooth.
And when you
Okay.
pushed out, Jennifer, and you turned the right foot, did it eventually go down? Did the weight eventually go down?
On your
On the
right foot?
Uh-huh.
No. And the
It still
reason
was-
why
okay.
is because when we finish a movement with that follow step,
Uh-huh.
that follow step foot is our next step as we go into our next move, which is play the lute. So if you need to give your right foot weight for safety, because maybe you feel unbalanced, give it weight. But just know you're getting ready to take the weight off of it because you're going to step back with it.
Okay.
So that next movement is step back. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So we end here where we follow steps right. So like I just said, we're going to step back right. Step back right. And when we step back right, we turn our hands. So from the front, it looks like this. I finished brush knee, and when I step back right, I'm going to turn my hands. And what I'm doing is putting them in a place to get ready to pass each other. So my palms have to be facing inward in order for them to pass. So they're going to pass each other, and my right hand is going to stop on that left elbow. And so that is play the lute. So here's the end of brush knee. I step back, turn hands, shift as they pass, and when I get to that elbow, I'll follow step left. So here's what it looks like from the side. I finished brush knee, play the lute, step back, turn hands, shift right as they pass, and when I get to that elbow, I follow step left. So that was a tiny little step back, right? I took that left foot and I stepped it back. That's a follow step foot. What do we know about a follow step foot? A follow step foot is our next step. So we do not give it weight because we're getting ready to step with it. If we need to give it weight for safety, fine. But we're going to have to remove the weight and give it to that right foot so that my left foot can step for our next movement, which is parry, parry, or it's called parry and punch. But for easy sake, parry, parry, and punch. Because you parry twice and then you and you punch. So parry, parry, and punch goes along with the movement. Here's the end of brush knee. Weights on our left foot because we just follow step with our right. Play the lute. Step back right, turn hands, shift as they pass. When I get to that elbow, I follow step left. So that's play the lute. To me, it feels like we're playing a harp. And a lute is not a harp, but it feels like it. As if the strings were on my arm and I went, just plucked those strings on the harp. So it's from the front, it looks like this. The end of brush knee. To play the lute, step back, turn hands, shift as they pass. When I get to that elbow, follow step left. So putting brush knee and play the lute together.
So follow step, you're putting the feet back together.
Ma'am.
Follow step, you're putting the feet back together, the feet are back together.
So on play the lute, it's step back, shift, and follow step. So see, my left foot is still in front of my left.
Okay.
I went dun, brush knee, and play the lute, dun, brush knee.
Okay.
Or the lute. So that left leg or left foot is still out front.
Okay.
It's not until just now when we're getting ready to do parry punch that this right foot is going to have a chance to be in front. So again, here's brush knee. I'm kind of pausing at each movement. Play the lute, step back, turn hands, shift as they pass, follow step. Now here's parry punch. We just follow step left foot. What we're going to do is step left and flip our hands. So I think about that waffle maker at the hotel, right? So I'm here and I step and flip. So I've turned the waffle maker. And now I'm going to do exactly what I just did in play the lute. My hands are going to pass until I get to the elbow. Then I'm going to step and I'm going to flip just like the waffle maker. Then I'm going to let my hands pass until I get to the elbow. So 3 times in a row, our hands passed until we got to the elbow. And then we flipped. And then our hands passed until we got to the elbow. Then we flipped. And then our hands passed until we got to the elbow. So 3 times in a row, our hands passed to the elbow. Flip, hand. So think of that flip as that waffle maker. Play the lute is our hands are upright. And then when we flip, they're flat. So that right there is your parries. Okay? That's your parries. Good gracious, it's 11 o'clock. All right, let's do that again just to let you know. Okay, so just so you can see it from the front. Here's the end of brush knee. Here's play the lute. Step back, turn hands. Shift as they pass. Follow step. Now here's parry punch. Step and flip. Shift and parry. Step and flip. Shift and parry. Now that's parry, parry. Now we're going for and punch. The hand that's extended becomes our guard. Our right hand comes back to our hip or to our back pocket. And then we make a fist and punch. Follow step. That's parry, parry, and punch. What I want you to be mindful of is 2 things. You have your guard. I don't want you to come and hammer down on yourself because you're hurting yourself if you come down. Also, I know if you punch someone, you wouldn't have your hands like this. You wouldn't punch someone like this. So to me, this movement is a little bit confusing because of that. But what I like to think of is I put up my guard, I bring this hand to my back pocket, and I grab some flowers. All right, just pretend. We grab a flower. Now, if you have a bunch of flowers and you're getting ready to give them to somebody, then you're going to give them to them like that, right? Because they're going to be sticking up. All right, just like that. That's our flower. So here, I got it out of my pocket. I'm delivering a flower. And when I end, my wrists are hovering over each other.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I want you to remember is not to hammer down on yourself and to keep that little hole upright, as if you were holding a bunch of flowers. So here, and you're hovering just above that wrist, and that's where you stop. Parry, parry, and punch. Here's those three moves together, then we'll cool down. All right, from open and close, brush knee. Play the loop. Step back, turn hands. Shift as they pass. I get to that elbow and I follow step. Parry punch. Step and flip. Shift and parry. Step and flip. Shift and parry. Step, guard. I'm grabbing my flowers. Shift as I deliver and follow step. All right, if we get that, we are home free from there, because then what we do is, okay, we just did that. Home free. Block and close. Push the tiger. Then we go to the front for open and close. So we're so close to learning those movements. And then we'll do it all to the right. Got it? We're fearless. We got this. Let's cool ourselves down. I was not paying attention to the time. I'm sorry, y'all. Went over class. Y'all had to charge me extra.
That's fine. I was late today. I got to cleaning and forgot.
It's okay. All right. So gather tension and then release that tension. We don't want to live in tension because tension is pain. But gather it so we know what it feels like and then let it go. One more time. Gather and release. Big shoulder circle. One more with a breath. Our right fist represents our strength, our left fingers together, our friendship, our thumb in, our humility, and we put those together, and in mutual respect, we say, Namaste. So kudos to y'all for being willing to move forward with these advanced movements, because they're very challenging. And so I applaud y'all for giving it a go. And just know it takes time. And, you know, we may be doing it in March and still getting it. And that's okay.
Well, I appreciate the flexibility because, again, today at 1:30, I have another appointment. So it was good.
That's okay. I'm here for y'all, and y'all let me know if you need me, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Love y'all.
Love you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Oh, you're talking to her. All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.